What's going on, Garage Gang? Matt from GarageMC here. Guys, we're banging out the 330R here. Yeah, I know, it looks the same as it did last week. You want to know why? Because I just keep redoing parts. Well, not redoing from what I already did, but there's just so much stuff that I thought I was just going to just unbolt from the quad and bolt on this new frame. Yeah, not going to happen, but let's get into it. Stay tuned. Alright, so in this video, we are going to rebuild the rear master cylinder for the brake setup. So, I'll show you guys what I took off the quad, and I just so happen to have another one. And wait till you guys see how this thing came out, man. I finally got my vapor blaster dialed in. I'm going to make a video on all the parts I used, how much it cost me to build the cabinet, and everything. That'll be the very next video. I'm going to film it right after this, because I actually need this other master cylinder to show how I got it from looking like that to looking like the way it does now. Check it out. So here's one that came off the quad, you know, and we got the Shindy rebuild kit. This is part number, well, here's the tag on it anyway. It says the same for 400EX, LTZ 400. So a lot of these rebuilds on your rear master cylinder are going to be identical to this procedure. Here's all the pieces that are on the inside of it, minus that screw. So you got pretty much, that's it, man. That's it. There's really not a lot going on in these. Yeah, you could buy a knockoff Chinese one for probably cheaper than a quality rebuild kit. And, you know, if you're going to do a rebuild like this, man, buy parts that were made in Japan. Shindy's made in Japan. You know, the Chinese stuff works, I guess, you know, but it's hit or miss sometimes. So, you know, I'd rather have the OEM equipment on here. But check out how I got this thing cleaned up, man. So, like I said, we went from looking like this to looking like that. Yes, it's the same exact part. It's off a TRX 250R. You know, if you guys want to see how that gets done, man, I've been going buck wild in here with the vapor blaster. I got my shock. I took that all apart. I redid the spring, mirror gloss black. The only thing I really don't know what I'm going to do with yet is that spring that goes over the hose, but that's all vapor blasted. I even coated the metal rings and everything in cast iron coat. Really starting to come together. Also decided to go with 450R geometry on the front, so knuckles, hubs, calipers, all that stuff. So we got my rear rotor hub all powder coated, new hardware, new Tusk Wave rotor or Typhoon rotor. Got my rear hubs powder coated. Even though I'm not going to use those, I'm ordering Lone Star aluminum hubs front and rear. I'm going to order the 450R ones today. Here's a 450R hub. Or I'm sorry, 450R knuckle. This came off the quad that was spray painted yellow, the one that I took apart. I'll show you guys what that exact hub looked like before I vapor blasted it. So yeah, this is this hunk of crap right here. That's exactly how that other one looked, man. So some of you guys wonder what takes so long to do some of this stuff, man. All this little stuff takes a bunch of time, and I'm doing this all myself. You know what I mean? There's nobody filming, there's nobody editing. There's nobody doing these parts for me. I'm doing this all myself, and I pay for all this stuff with money from parting out other quads or buying, fixing, and reselling quads. That's like my main rule. I don't use my money from work on this stuff. It's all pays for itself. But enough rambling on, man. Let's disassemble this one so you guys can see how it comes apart. Very simple. And then we'll rebuild this one, and then I'll make a video on my vapor blasting setup. Let's get it. Alright, so let's get this disassembled. Obviously off the quad, the clevis is off of here. This is these two nuts here. You know, this is how you adjust the way your brake pedal sits wherever you want it. That's where you get your adjustment from there. If you guys mess with it, you'll see what I'm talking about. So let's take this fitting off here first. We just got a Phillips head screw, JIS screwdriver. If you guys are using a regular screwdriver and you're always marring up your screws, that's why. You got to get the proper tip for what you're working on, and you won't strip out. Well, you'll greatly increase your chances of not stripping it out if you have the right tool for the job, obviously. JIS stands for Japanese Industrial Standard. Yes, there are several different sizes as far as the screw tips go, like a number 2, number 3. Alright, so once this comes off, there is an O-ring in here. Right there, nice and chewed up. We'll go ahead and just leave this on here. I usually, when I take something apart, I'll keep it in the same order it comes apart in. Alright, so down here we have a rubber boot. I'm gonna have to get a pick and we'll have to pull that out. The shindy kit comes with a new one, so don't worry about ruining it. I just stuck the pick in there and then just pulled it off. You can see all this junk falling out of here. These things just get coated with all kinds of stuff. We just pull this boot out of our way. Yeah, if we remove these two 12mm nuts here, we could slide everything off, which we will do in a minute, because there's also a little circlip in here. I don't know if I can get you guys a shot of it, but there's one in there. I got to take this over to the wire wheel and clean out in here, because there is a circlip in here. It's a you squeeze it together and then pull it out, and then this whole assembly will slide out, man. This is like super easy to do. So let me clean that out and then we'll pick back up. I got that circlip removed. It was pretty well seized in there, and I basically just cleaned it out real good, and then I pinched this in the vise, and then I took a flathead screwdriver and I just tapped on it lightly with a ball peen hammer and a flathead. I just pretty much just broke the seal free, and she decided to see things our way. Now I'm going to get the rest of it out somehow here. It's kind of, this is probably the most tedious part about this whole thing. So there's a circlip. Don't worry about trashing it, because the shindy kit comes with a new one. So we'll put that in our pile of collected stuff over here. All right, now this should just pull apart. All right, after some wiggling, I got this to pull out. So if this is your first time taking this apart, well, obviously you could reference this video, but always place your stuff in the order that it comes out. Then you'll know what you have going on. All right, so once that comes out, there's this metal ring on here. This stays on here. You're not getting that off. It's, you know, assembled with it as one piece. And here we have, now pay attention, we got this rubber piece here that's like a ball and socket. This is where you get that play from. Like if you know, your foot pedal's a little off or whatever, it still has, you know, room to operate. So it's like a ball and socket. So I'll show you guys the shindy kit when we pour that out. Once we get this all disassembled, you just grab that, and this comes out like that. There's your little corkscrew looking piece. So once again, we'll put it in the order that it goes, and there should be a spring in here. Bang, bang, just like that. So that's everything you have going on in here. Basically sits like that. That's it, man. All right, now we're done with this one. I'm gonna go ahead and clean up here. We'll lay out our parts. I'll leave these laid out so you guys can see, if you can see, if you're even in the shot. Still working on my photography skills, guys. Don't worry, I'm getting there. If you remember my first video ever, just over 2 years. We just hit our 2-year birthday on YouTube. So on the 26th. But anyway, all right, let me get this to the side, because this will be our next video, making this one look like that one there. And clean up real quick, and we'll start assembling this. One other thing I got to do, though, before then, the other rod that goes to that one, or, I mean, I could use this one, obviously, it's the same part. I'm going to clean that up and recoat it real quick. And we'll start putting this thing together. Quick video, guys. All right, so being that we laid our stuff out in order, we got, obviously, the master cylinder, the body to it. Spring came out that way right there, so the coil part goes in first. Then you got your seal at the bottom, the little corkscrew, or I don't know what you would call that, pressure cog or something like that. And we got the corresponding part with the arm on there that goes to your brake pedal, then a circlip, then the boot. So came out, you know, in this order first: boot, circlip, rod, cog, gear, cog, pressure thing, whatever the hell you want to call it. Spring with the seal at the bottom, then the body. Obviously we took that stuff off too, but so here's the new stuff. I coated that with cast iron coating. I vapor blasted it, so all those grooves, like where the seal goes, are nice and clean. You guys want to make sure you have like that groove where the circlip goes. Get in there with a pick, clean that out, wire wheel it. I also put a wire wheel on the impact gun and cleaned out the body of it. Made sure all these little ports here where the brake fluid go through, make sure they're nice and clean. Blow air, compressed air through all of them. Put your finger over the bottom. Seal it up, you know, blow through these two holes. Blow through this one. Get all that old, built up, dried up brake fluid out of there. So while we're putting this together, no, you do not have to use Honda brake fluid. I'm just, you know, I'm beginning to think I have a problem, but, you know, we like to use quality stuff around here. So, obviously the Shindy rebuild. So, you know, go on eBay, rear master cylinder rebuild kit. Put the make and model of your quad first, and it should pop up. I think this was like 19 bucks, dude. You know, so we're gonna be looking a hell of a lot more fresh. But all right, let's start assembling this. We're gonna use the brake fluid to lubricate the seals and everything as we go in. All right, so we're gonna go back in the same way. We got a little bit of assembly to do. So you see this one seal. By the way, this kit comes with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 separate pieces. So you can see this one obviously goes to the spring where that little pocket is with the hole. It's got a little nipple in there that goes in there. And this will somewhat click on, just like that. We'll go ahead and get that assembled. Now you'll notice this one here, this is going to be interesting to get on. You can see it's on there. So we're going to see what direction that fits on there in. Looks like it goes like this here. So you got a flat side on one part, and then the other spot has this like edge right there. Let me go ahead and stretch this on here, and we will lubricate all this after. All right, well, that was a little bit of a fight to get it on there. Basically just, you know, started it on one side, took a pick and stretched it on. The first time I put it on, it wanted to roll inside out, so I had to take it back off, and then I started with it inside out, then it rolled and landed the way it's supposed to. So we're good there. I'm going to take some DOT4 brake fluid, and I'm just going to lubricate the cylinder in here a little bit with a Q-tip. Just going to get everything. You don't want to assemble this all dry. You want all these seals to be nice and lubed and ready to go. Alright, so we got a little lube in there. I'm going to go ahead and drop our spring in with the open part of the spring in first. Get that going, just like so. Put that in there. Then we can take this part. Remember, the ball faces the outside of the part. And go ahead and lube up this rubber too, because that last one probably just pushed all the brake fluid that I just put in there into the cylinder. Get that lubed up. Alright. Slide this puppy in there. Now you got your spring action. You can actually feel the suction if you know, put your fingers over it and push on it, obviously. All right, so now this is going to go in, but before I do that, I'm going to rub a little anti-seize where that circlip goes in that groove in there. This way, you know, I mean, this has been in use since 1986. Show me a Chinese master cylinder that's going to last for almost 40 years, and then I'll still won't buy them. But anyway, yeah, I'm gonna rub a little anti-seize just in the groove where that circlip goes. I'll probably just put it on the edge of the circlip. So let me grab that stuff out, and then we'll finish assembling this and end the video. All right, now that I got a little anti-seize rubbed in there, we can go ahead. The circlip goes on top of this metal ring that's in there. That's what holds the whole assembly together. So we got our little ball section here. Go ahead and push that down in there, and we could take our circlip. This is where it gets a little fiddly, but you'll be all right, trust me. Just take your time with it and you'll get it. So I'm going to hold the circlip. Going to grab our tool that I should have had out already. Get it in 2 circlip holes. And we're just going to get this started going in there. And now we could take a flathead and just make sure that we're in the groove all the way around. And you will hear it snap into place. I don't know if you guys heard that little snap, but she's seated. I'm just going around making sure. All right. We are fully in the groove in there. If you guys can, I don't know if you guys can see in there. Yeah, you can see it. You want to make sure you're fully seated, man. You don't want this blowing apart on you out in the trail. All right, so next part is going to go on is this new rubber boot. It's going to go on in this direction here. Now, this little lip in here on this rubber boot, has to seat into this groove here. So this will probably be fun to get in as well. And this is a tight fit. I'm just going to go ahead and walk it on in there. And you don't want to use any picks or anything and poke a hole in this thing, because this is what's protecting you from the elements here. You know, all-terrain vehicle and all. You know, you don't want water and stuff getting in there. Sorry guys, I'm trying to keep you in the shot and do this too. It's not feeling too ergonomic for me. And we'll just get that seated. We got to push that down the rest of the way. Want to be careful, like I said, you do not want to poke a hole in this boot. Just nice and careful. No need to rush. Just get her seated in there. And that's it, man. We got a rebuilt master cylinder. The Shindy kit does not come with the new O-ring here, but you know, just inspect it, make sure it's not cracked or damaged. And then you want to we'll go ahead and lube this up as well. Just get a little, whatever brake fluid you're going to use. Get that nice and lubed up. This I also thoroughly cleaned out inside and out. And, you know, went ahead and rubbed Armor All on it. A little natural shine. Spin it into its location. And we're not going to take our beat up old Phillips head screw. We're going to be using a brand new screw, Allen head. We'll get that cranked down to its location. And now we can put this back on the quad, man. Bang, bang. So here we are in conclusion, guys. Yeah, this is going on to 330 with all the other anodized red stuff. So we're going to run this type of clevis right here. You know, that'll just go in the spare parts pile. I got to order another rebuild kit and rebuild this one after I make the video on how I got my Vapor Blaster built, what I spent, what parts I used. So be on the lookout for that video next if you want to have your parts look like that too. If you don't want to build a cabinet like that and spend the money and do the work, check out Moto Blast NJ. Check out James. He does some nice work, man. If you just got some stuff you want done here and there, I like to have it where I could do it whenever I want in the garage. So, you know, it's just how I do things. But anyway, question for you guys, man. I want to know how many of you would either A, rather just buy a Chinese knockoff, bolt it on, and, you know, send it, or, in my opinion, the right way, and rebuild your OEM stuff. This master cylinder from Honda that's been on this 250R since 1986 has been working since 1986. That's almost 40 years. Let me know if you guys have a... Well, you can't let me know because the Chinese shit hasn't been made for 40 years. So the Japs got this shit right, in my opinion. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. The video's almost over. Be sure to throw me a thumbs up. It really helps the channel. I really appreciate it. If you're not subscribed, smash the subscribe button, man. We do stuff like this all the time. And I'm coming up on being able to put this bike all the way together. So, yeah, getting pretty damn excited here. So, I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for joining me in the garage today.